So as you guys saw just the other day, I had a little bit of fun with TNT missiles. They're not something that I ever really built before. I think I'd built one previously on the first time that I'd ever tried to build a flying machine, but since then I hadn't really touched them, and I thought this wasn't a particularly good thing. They seemed like a really interesting thing to work on, and you know what? I was totally correct. I mean, I can't think of many more things in Minecraft more satisfying than watching this thing travel towards that little fortified portaloo. Now, if you want to see the explosion, you're going to have to check out that video, because in today's video, we're going to be working on something completely different. Well, I guess you could say it's not completely different, because what I want to work on is a carpet bombing machine. So instead of a missile which explodes on impact, I want to create a system that flies along, and then after a set period of time, it unloads its explosives and drops them down onto the ground. This is going to be fun. Now, my idea for the timing circuit is I want to make use of some form of piston feed tape. So this is kind of like another challenge that I've kind of issued myself in this video, is to build a piston feed tape that works within a flying machine, and it's going to be quite complicated, but I think, as far as I can tell, if we just power this thing, yeah, so we've got the motor's working, and then here we have the actual system itself, which I think could potentially house our piston feed tape. But you know what, I'm not 100% certain. This is not something that I have any experience with whatsoever, so I'm very interested to see how we actually pull this thing off. Okay, I'm just curious to see if this system works. Feel like it's probably going to be a no. Definitely not a promising start there. Maybe if I remove that. Okay, we need to be able to move these two pistons together, but we can't. Oh, okay, I might be onto something here. So if I just place in some obsidian there, right, we need to push this one block further across, then we have that, and then this piston here, and then if we take a look, so if we just take a look after this helicopter flies over, you might see the beginnings of a piston feed tape, but kind of not really. This is gonna be so difficult. Let's see if this works how I think it will. So if we do this, it does. But then this piston can't push, because this piston can't push. No, it should have been fine, but it breaks it. It totally breaks it. So if we had a block here, the idea was that it would slip along, and then you push up like that. But it doesn't like it, does it? My plan of action is to slow things down a little bit. So you can see that our flying machine, we've changed up the motor, and now it's a tiny bit slower, which means that we should give ourselves more time to do the piston feed tapey stuff. And by the way, caterpillar pistons and flying machines and things like that are honestly some of the most satisfying things to watch in Minecraft. So, it turns out I was totally barking up the wrong tree when it came to putting the slime blocks next to the piston feed tape. We don't actually need to do that. Instead, what we need to do is we need to make sure that we can push these blocks along using this slime block setup, and then extend the piston. So you kind of get a double extension, and then we need to make sure that we can control this piston down at the bottom here so that we can get the cycling of the blocks. I mean, seriously, if this isn't making any sense, I don't blame you. It's getting so confusing for my poor little brain here. But I think if we do something like that, so that will do that push, and then that should delay that signal a little bit. So if we remove the obsidian and then fire this, okay, they're now firing at the same time. So we need to add a little bit more delay, just a tiny bit more delay in there, and then we could be onto something here. Yes, I think we might be. Here we go. So if we have a block inside this piston feed tape, please, fingers crossed. Oh, we're pushing too many blocks. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't actually need that. So that's 4, 5 blocks, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This is now actually fine. So if we, right, first we need to power that, and then we can do this. If we were to break this, and then have a block there, so this is the feed tape kind of working. If it was... Yes! Okay, so now we just need to cycle the blocks around. I understand this may not be that technical for some people who have built a lot of flying machines, but this is all new to me, so I'm trying my best to learn on the job. Yes! Oh my word, I can't believe that's actually functioning. I've just had, I have literally just gone into full kind of 6-year-old kid at Christmas at this point in time, because look at that. Now, if that isn't ridiculously cool to watch, I don't know what is. I'm going to actually stop this thing, and then we're going to put a block inside it so that you can see how it functions, if I can. Yeah, I didn't think I could. So there we go. We now actually have a block inside the system. Now, I've chosen to use an observer because that's actually the block that we're going to be using inside the piston feed tape. So now you can actually see how it functions. So it flies right the way across, and then it stays where it is. And then when it comes back around, it shoots back across and makes its way over. And the way that we're going to be doing this is we're actually going to be using this as our timer for dropping the bomb. So every single time this observer cycles past a certain point up at the top here, it's going to activate something, which means that this system will drop a bomb. So we should see periodic explosions in the floor until the magazine of this flying machine actually runs out. So there you go. I'm super curious to see how this actually functions with TNT. Let's give it a whirl. So the observer is now making its way round, and it's going to go across like this. And that should have been the moment. Okay, it should have activated already. Yeah, it totally should have done that. But fear not, because I've got a solution, and I've actually improved the design a little bit, because the previous design only had a magazine of like 4 pieces of TNT, which, let's face it, is rubbish, whereas this now has a much bigger one. I think it's 9 total TNT. So let's see if this one works. Here goes. So our observer is going across, and when it powers one of these blocks... There it was! It just dropped the TNT! So there we go, and then that TNT has now been pushed back. So then we go across like this, and it's dropping them! Yes! I can't believe we've just created this system! Look how cool that is! So it's just emptying through its TNT kind of canister, I guess. It's just dropping them off! This is one of the coolest things I think I've built. I can't remember the last time I built something this cool. This is so much fun to watch. Oh my word, I can't believe it actually functions. So there we go. We have got, that's the 5th piece of TNT. And then it's going to wrap it back around again. So our little observer will cycle round, and it will drop down its TNT. And it is just, it's pouring it down on the floor. How cool is that? So it's just going to empty through its magazine, and then it's going to continue flying off, I guess, indefinitely until it runs into something. Oh, that is so cool. So cool. We might as well continue until the last piece of TNT is dropped. So this is the final one. And that has left a pretty decent path of destruction as well. In a way, it's kind of Oh, we got some extra action going on. It fires the last piece of TNT with the slime block. Yeah, really cool. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. We managed to pull it off. I have to say, in the start of this thing, when I was just starting out building it, I actually didn't think I was going to be able to complete this thing. I didn't think I was actually going to be able to pull it off, but we managed to get it all working. The piston feed tape ended up functioning, and our little TNT unloading system worked perfectly. We drop out 9 pieces of TNT with 8 of them being in a nice line, and then the last bit is just projected off into the distance. I really, really like this thing. Of course, there are probably improvements that you could make. I can't wait to see all of your suggestions on Twitter and down in the YouTube comment section. I hope that you also enjoyed these episodes. If you want to see more of them, then also let me know down in the comment section. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please sure to hit that like button, and if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.